You are beautiful. Okay, what kind of voice went on in your head when I said, you are beautiful? Yeah. Oh, except for you. You know. Woo. Fully actualized. Most of us have some kind of dialogue that goes on in our mind. When somebody says, you're so beautiful, in our mind, it's like, I think you have the wrong person. You're talking about my sister. I don't even have a sister, but it's like, what's wrong with your eyeballs? Can't you see that I'm the ugly duckling that never turned into a swan? Or the dialogue is, if you only knew. If you only knew what I said, what I thought, what I've done, you wouldn't think I was beautiful. But beauty is a divine idea. And if it's a divine idea, then I am beautiful. You are beautiful. You have the option, the opportunity to invoke with your power, with your dominion. Thank you so much for the daily word today. You have that power to add your voice to these words, to this divine idea. So let's try it on and say, I am beautiful. Okay, pretty good, right? The little voices are quieting except for yours. You keep yours going. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Okay, so now I'm going to invite you to say it. And after you say it, I want you to hold your breath. And as you're holding your breath, notice if there's any lingering conversation and if there's anything lingering in your body. So take a breath. I am beautiful. Okay, what's happening in your mind? What's happening in your body? And whatever is happening in your body, those feelings and sensation, and whatever thoughts have come into your mind, that's simply information. There's nothing wrong, right? It's simply information that says this is where I am on my spiritual journey. And I have power and dominion with my words about where I'm choosing that I want to go. So I don't know if you are a 100% expert on the 4 agreements, Don Miguel Ruiz. I don't know if you've never heard of the 4 agreements or if you fall somewhere in between. But 28 years ago, Don Miguel Ruiz published a teeny tiny book with a powerful code of conduct for us to choose to engage in if we wanted to take the information that we are receiving from our mind and from our body, to take the information and live a bigger, better, bolder kind of life. His whole premise, it comes out of the Toltec tradition. So if you could, oh, look at that. Here they are. Be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. That's somebody else's talk. Don't make assumptions. That's another person's talk. And always do your best is like a 4th person's talk. Maybe Amanda Sue gets to repeat. I don't know. But anyway, our job today is to take a look at be impeccable with your word. So if you can switch to the next slide. In the beginning of the book, Don Miguel says, Toltec knowledge arises from the same essential truth as all the sacred, esoteric traditions found around the world. And I love this because it really is what the unity movement is all about, looking at essential truth. We may have had a different primary teacher That's what they're calling them these days instead of master teachers, right? We may have had a different primary teacher. It depends on what faith tradition you came out of. Unity as a movement honors all the paths to God, especially the one that you were on, but we all recognize essential truth as universal truth. And we appreciate the teachers that have brought this truth into our consciousness. Esoteric really fits with unity too, because we're mystical. We believe in a oneness with God, and our experience in life is all about finding that feeling, getting the information from our minds and our bodies that we have embodied our oneness with God. So that esoteric tradition really is all about recognizing that we are light and we are love. Carl Sagan says we are star stuff. He says something like that. We are made of stardust. There we go. It came. So he says we're stardust. And in unity we go, yes, we are. We are light and we are love. Light and love are not something we acquire on a spiritual journey. It's something that we already are. And what we look for in unity, and what we're grateful for unity, and what we're grateful for Don Miguel Ruiz bringing it through his Toltec lens, is that ability to say, oh, that fits my light, that fits my love, this doesn't. So it's like, what can I do to peel away any attitudes, beliefs, thoughts, habits that I've acquired in my lifetime so that I can shine more of my light and I can love more deeply. His code of conduct that he lays out does exactly that. It gives us practical tools and creates a way to say, oh, I apparently have been domesticated. That's his word. I'm not sure I like it so much because it reminds me of farm animals. But I suppose in oneness, we're all the same, even me and the goat, right? Or me and the chicken. Oh, God bless the chickens in the United States. Let's take a moment to affirm their health and well-being, and just, whoa, because eggs, whoa. Okay, let me see, where was I? Okay, domestication, thank you so much. So domestication really is taking a look and recognizing that we've adopted these attitudes, thoughts, habits, and beliefs over our lifetime. So from birth to the present moment. It's not birth for forever. Isn't that good news? Isn't that good news that we have the opportunity to say it's not forever? Don Miguel Ruiz says this about our belief systems. If you could switch to the next slide. These beliefs are so strong that even years later, when we are exposed to new concepts and try to make our own decisions, we find that these beliefs still control our lives. Okay. They do. But there's also something that we were born to do. There's a purpose that we have in our life. There's a calling. And there is something, even though we can be, and I say my mind is here, but it's really not in my head. But even though we're domesticated, it's like there's still this call, this urge, this desire, this purpose that we know that lives inside of us that is saying, let me love more deeply and let me shine my light more brightly. Don Miguel Ruiz says we have two assets to help us in this process. Number one, be brave. Be brave. Say, yes, from birth to the present, that's what I've believed. It has served me. This is how I've gotten attention. This is how I've gotten acceptance. This is how I've found my place of belonging. Yes, that has served me from 0 to now, but I'm willing to be brave to think outside that construct. And number 2, he says, use your stick-to-itiveness. I don't know if you use that word, but I use that word. Use your stick-to-itiveness. Be persistent. If at first you don't succeed, try again. So let's take the power of our voice and add it to these words and say, I am brave.
I am brave.
I am persistent.
I am persistent.
Yeah. Okay, agreement number 1. Agreement number 1, be impeccable with your word. So by its definition, impeccable means without sin. And the unity definition of sin is to miss the mark. I mean, that's not news to a lot of people who've been in unity a long time, but it's taking a misinterpretation of a divine idea. It's missing the mark. So it's a misinterpretation of a divine idea. It's a misinterpretation of a good idea. It's a misinterpretation of what we thought would bring us those things that we were looking for: acceptance, attention, and belonging. That's sin. Sin. There is no such thing as original sin. And if you want to be funny in a very sad kind of way, there's also no such thing as unoriginal sin. Right? I mean, we try. We try. I lived in the South. We try. We try. And we do our best. But really, when we're invited to be impeccable, we're being invited to come into alignment with truth with a capital T. We're invited to get as close as we possibly can to the interpretation of the divine idea that we think we have received. That's what being impeccable. It's like, just get as close as you can. Come into alignment as much as you can, because remember, you're strong and you're persistent. So it's like coming back into alignment. And I'll tell you why this is important. Because in the book of Isaiah, God said, "As for the works of my hands, command ye me." Think about that deeply. Command ye me. God isn't saying, I'm going to direct the course of humankind. I'm going to tell you what happens. I'm going to lay it out for you. God is really saying it's up to humankind to direct me, that causative energy. Whoa. So that's the end of prayers of supplication. Right? Please make this happen, God. No, it's like just command God. Command God with your words. See why impeccability is so important. Because we are telling God, that causative energy in the world, that this is the direction we ought to go. Not just in our environment, not just like in the Mindy Tucker environment, not just in your environment, and not just in the Cottonwood environment, but in the environment. And I think the environment needs a little directing, right? It doesn't even matter where you stand. It's like, how can we create more love, more joy, more peace, more assurance that things are working out for our good? The truth is that things are always working out for our good. I want my eyes to see it. I want my head, my mind to know it. I want my heart to be reassured by it. Command ye me. Most traditional religions will teach that we are the humble servants of God. But it's actually the other way around. Woo, just take that responsibility on. Right? Take that responsibility on. God is our humble servant. And it is up to us to be impeccable, to come into alignment as best we can. This wisdom is echoed in Christian scriptures. The book of God, John says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. Take a breath. We are the creators of our experience. We're not the creators of our condition, but we're the creators of our experience. More joy, more love, more peace, loving deeply, shining our light brightly. That's our job. Okay, number one. Be impeccable with your word is not using it against yourself. So when I was little, and maybe when you were little, there was this saying, I'm rubber, you're glue. Everything that you say bounces off of me and sticks to you. And it's true. It's true. Everything you say bounces off of me and sticks to you. But the opposite is true too. You're rubber and I'm glue. So everything I say bounces off of you and sticks to me. So let's just say the hypothetical you, because I don't think I would call anybody in here an idiot. But let's say I called you an idiot. And you resented me for that. And you began to hate me for that. And then I would feel it. I would feel your resentment and your hate and your anger. And then I would get even more angry and I would spew some more. And it would bounce right off of you and come back to me and I would suffer. It's called instant karma. Right? And you just want to take it off and ugh, it's like ugh. But think of the converse experience. Being impeccable with my word, finding that place of love within me, finding that place of light within me, and then using that kind of word with you, and then it just bounces right off of you, and it comes back to me, and then I get so excited, I say some more loving, wonderful, amazing things, and it bounces off of you, and it comes back to me, and it's instant karma of a different kind. It's like, bring it. Bring it, but what have I done? I've used my words to command. I've used my words to create an experience, not that isn't using it against myself. I'm using it for myself. And the second way to be impeccable with your word is to make sure that you have the correct use of your energy. So, like, get into alignment, because that's what impeccability is, and then use it correctly. So if you get into alignment with belonging and acceptance and appreciation and all those wonderful things, and you engage in the practice of gossip, that is not the correct use of your energy. Because gossip is one of the most toxic poisons in our society. Toxic. But when we use words that are in alignment with impeccability, we have experiences that are restorative. We have experiences that are strengthening. We have self-love, and then we can go out and be in relationship with people and farm animals. People. I got to hold a goat this week. He's 10 days old. His name was Lunchbox, and that's what it's like. I keep trying to figure out with 3 cats living in a planned community. It's like, how can I have a goat? Okay, so it's probably not in my future, but It's just like, he was so cute. He was so cute, but it's like when we have correct use of our energy, that causative energy of spirit, it's like we can create anything. We can actually create anything we want to. We can create that love, we can create that light, and we can create that remembrance and that assurance that we are beautiful. Okay, on this side, stuff I've already talked about. Be brave, be persistent. But here's some ways to change our habits about the way we use words. Number 1, become aware of them. Become aware of the words that are coming to your mind. It's really important to become aware of them because when we think about the law of mind action, that law that says mind, idea, expression, it's the sequence of how everything is brought into existence. Mind is the superconscious divine idea. It's where we get those marvelous inspirations from, and then the idea is what we start to turn over in our own subconscious and conscious mind, and then expression is the action we take into the world. So right in between ideas and action, that's where our words are. So we have to catch the words before they get into expression. So become aware of them. Walk around with a notepad. If you're hip, find an app on your phone and start recording saying, wow, I noticed I had a negative thought, some negative words that came to mind about so-and-so or about such and such. And if you really want to play big and have fun, enroll the people around you. Say, every time you catch me, you become aware that I'm using a negative word, I'll give you $1. $1. $1, and then hope that they invite you out to dinner with them with all the money that they might make on catching you, because they're habits. It's a habit to connect with somebody and say, hey, I was at Unity of Verde Valley last week and I saw so-and-so and she didn't look so good. What is that? That's that toxic thing. We're not in impeccability with our word unless the person is there and shares their own story, right? So catch yourself. Become aware of the negative words that you have an impulse to come out of your mouth. And then number 2 is neutralize them. I'm going to give you 2 tools and a word of wisdom. The word of wisdom is be careful who you use these tools with and in what situation. Because if you're in a discussion with, let's say, a partner or a neighbor or a boss, you're not going to want to engage these 2 tools in the moment. So the first tool is the holy fire of purification. The holy fire of purification is wonderful because it's portable. You can just stick it under your arm. It's energetic. And you can just say, I have my holy fire of purification with me. And then you put it down on the floor next to you. And whatever negative words or thoughts that are you're having the impulse to express, instead of expressing them, you put them in the holy fire of purification. And you add a sound effect. So we have enough space to identify a space on the floor. It doesn't have to be a big fire, but just find a place on the floor and bring to mind a person or a thing or a situation that you have an impulse to have some negativity about, and just go, drop out the words, make the sound, and then they go into the holy fire of purification. And when they hit the holy fire of purification, they go, see why you can't do this with your boss? Right? And if you finding that you're triggered by watching the news or some gossip that somebody just shared with you, you just go, okay? And if you had to put like kazit, 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 like a whole bunch, bless the smoke and the ashes with an amen. Because they're out of you. They're out of your body. They're out of your heart. They're out of your mind. And they've been in the holy fire. If you want to go back to the Hindu tradition, Om. So, amen, Om. Shake it out. It's a holy fire purification. Stick it under your arm, and you'll be ready for the next time. Okay, so that's one tool for neutralizing them. The second tool is recognizing that we have dominion, we have power, and we have that capacity to say, wow, look what's up, and allow it to move on. So when a situation presents itself, when we get triggered or whatever is bringing those negative thoughts and words into our awareness, thank you for sharing. Sharing is caring. Carry on. It sounds silly. Think of a situation. We're going to practice. Let it come up. Become aware of your negativity, your negative, sinful thoughts and words that are coming up, and say, thank you for sharing. Sharing is caring. Carry on. It feels so silly, but it's an embodiment. If we have embodied and domesticated all those thoughts, habits, it's like here's an embodiment practice to invite them to move on. Thank you for all the good you brought me. Thank you for all the belonging I felt. Thank you for all the camaraderie. Thank you for everything good that you brought. Carry on. Carry on. And then because we've created a vacuum, replace them. Find some good thoughts in your mind. They are there. Find some divine ideas to take a hold of. They are there. If you were completely stymied or stumped, because there are situations going on every day in our lives where like, I cannot believe she said that. I cannot believe that this happened. I cannot believe that this is going on. If we're completely stumped, have your replacement words be, isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? And if you happen to think of Romans 8:28, I can't wait to see what good is going to come out of this, because there's good in everything. It's like, find the way for you to open those new pathways, those new neural connections that bring you back into impeccability. Try it. Impeccability. Because it's going to remind you to take whatever's going on and come back into alignment with divine spirit. To come back into alignment so that you're using your creative, causative energy for good. One thing I know about agreements is that we don't always keep them. And another thing I know about agreements is that even if we have forgotten to keep them, or we fall off the wagon, we can always recommit to agreeing to them again. So it's not about being perfect all the time. It's about using that spiritual pattern of perfection to come back into alignment. So let's take this thought, this idea, into meditation. Can you put the next slide, please? I commit and recommit to my agreement to be impeccable with my word. So I commit and recommit to my agreement to be impeccable with my word. Let's take that into a time of meditation. Oh, breathing in and breathing out. Noticing the tingles in our body, the zing in our heart, the swirl in our minds, with powerful invitations to up-level our experience of life, to come into alignment with joy, with love, and with peace by being in agreement or alignment with divine mind. Breathing in, breathing out. We settle into our super conscious mind. That oneness with spirit, that oneness with God. Oneness with our mystic, holy self. All things are working out for our good. Whew. It is here in meditation that we plant the seeds of persistence and strength, of courage and bravery. It is here that we create the foundation, that we declare, that we command to be in alignment with. Love, light, beauty. For ancient wisdom, for essential truth, for esoteric experiences of aliveness. We come back to this time and this place with gratitude. Gratitude for our fortitude, gratitude for our desire to be more than we have ever been before. More beautiful, more filled with light, and more expressive with our love. So it is, and so we let it be. Amen. 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 Oh.